All right, guys, we got a really interesting one for you today, and we didn't even have to go far to do it. So we're just right around the corner from the dealership. A local legend here, Don Beverly, has got his personal Kenworth that he built from scratch in 2001-ish. And it's got the big motor, Prevost finished off the back, and he's the man that did it all. So I'm going to let him kind of take over and spit in a couple different things, but it is going up for sale. He's had it all this time. Always kept it indoors, but now that he does not have a building to keep it inside, it won't fit in the garage here, so he does not want to let it see it sit any longer, and somebody's going to get a great unit. So take it away, Don.
Had this thing built in 2001 after having a series of, I guess, regular motorhomes. Didn't like the fact that if he had a problem, couldn't get a fan belt put on, and also I was in the trucking business, and Kenworth was the make we were using back then. We liked the T600, and we loved the Caterpillar motors. Okay, so sat down and spec'd out exactly what I wanted. When it came from the factory, it was the wheelbase that we wanted for this box, and the Caterpillar had a 550 horsepower, the 10-speed transmission, the 308 rear. When it came from the factory, it was ready to have the box built and set down on it. Kingsley was the company that actually built the box back in, I guess, 2000 will be the year they built it in. And up in Pennsylvania, they're out of business now. And they, at the time I was busy, and it was my fault that I didn't go up and check on it like I should have on a regular basis. They built kind of what I wanted, other than everything I didn't want done to the inside. So when I bought it, I took it to Angola Prevost and had the inside a little bit nicer than what they had done it up there. The way they did it was a little bit crude and rough. So since the time when I first got it, it was blue. It now has House of Color paint on it that still, for the age, I guess it's been on there probably 8-9 years, it still looks good because it stayed inside every night. At my place, it always stayed inside each and every night. So that's the key to the paint, I guess, keeping the gloss on it.
Two slides.
It says 2 slides. It's on 11/22/5 rubber. Let's see. Michelin's XZA 2s on the front, which we really like. It weighs right at 35,000 pounds, and it's very, very stable on the road. It's a honest joy to drive.
Yeah, so non-CDL truck, which I asked him earlier, y'all know our following on that. So you're able to drive it like a motorhome, and as long as you're private use, you're good under CDL. And while we're on this side, really very few objections to it. A couple little things. There's just some trim that needs some glue. It ended up with one scratch, which wasn't even his fault, right here on the side, which could be touched up, but that actually happened while he had it in a service shop getting some stuff done. It's got the stainless boxes down bottom for lots of storage. Christian's taken a lot of pictures already, so we'll have all those on the website so you can view all that. Air ride on the tandems and a locking axle, right?
Yes, exactly. It has a blue ox mounted on the back, and whoever buys it, if they have the type vehicle, I pulled a GMC Arcadia behind it. It goes with it. The hitch on the back of this thing is rated at 40,000 pounds, so it'll pull any kind of a stack or any kind of trailer you've got. And going back to the motor, with the 550 Cat, this thing could pull any size trailer with a couple of cars or anything you wanted it. I honestly wish I had pulled 40,000 50,000 pounds down the road with this thing some to to see how bad it really was. But it'd be perfect. But the only thing I've ever towed with it is a car. So that's all I can tell you about it.
And everybody calls these things something different: coaches, haulers, toters, whatever. But the perfect thing would be a race car rig with an enclosed trailer. You know, or even if you're traveling, just carry a couple classic cars with you to ride around. You know, if you're on vacation or going to Florida or whatever you're doing. Don was a drag racer for NHRA, and I just found out he also did some circle track stuff there too, I guess. Grand National, you said?
Busch Grand National.
Busch Grand National. So he was moving around. Truck's got 69,000 miles. So the other thing, and he's from the trucking world, a lot of people take one of these rigs from their fleet with 1 million miles and then decide to go build them. This was new, 0 mile truck to build, spec the way he wanted it. And again, he had hundreds of trucks over time, I guess. Yeah. So, you know, he knew what options to get and what options not to get. He knew what he was going to do with it. So it started life original versus it being a donor situation. So, and again, we'll go to the inside. He can tell you a little bit more about that. The Alcoa with the floater up front takes a lot of heat out of the tire, and he's seen plenty of that over time too, so that helps a whole lot, displacing the weight and making it handle better. And he's run this at some pretty good speed. Speedometer stops at 80. He says at 80 the RPMs are so low it's not funny because of the gear ratio, and he'll climb a hill like it's no tomorrow with 550 horsepower, especially with that transmission. But he's running on up into the higher digits for sure. So it is capable.
One thing about this motor, it is a C15 Caterpillar, and it is pre-admission, and that's a big deal in today's world. You don't have to have any of that depth fluid or anything like that. It's non-electronic.
No regeneration,
no.
None of that stuff. So it's like you're walking into your living room here.
Well,
spin around so we can tell you about the inside front area there first.
This, I guess you would have to call it, is the cockpit up here. Just two seats up here. The transmission is an auto shift, 10-speed auto shift. I think JW already said it. It's got 69,600 miles. Completely no damage up here. Like I said, it's just like it is. Out here, this is an air door. There's an air compressor below that runs this air door right here. And in the wintertime when I was by myself, I close this door and just run the dash heat, or in the summertime, real hot outside, close this door and run the air conditioned dash. But that really helps a lot, if you're riding down the road by yourself. This area here, I guess you start going through here is, I guess it's a table and basket, a table where you can eat breakfast and all that, lunch and all there. And this sofa right here comes into a double bed. And let's see, there's the television mounted up in there, and plenty of storage space underneath the sofas. And I guess when you get back here in the cabinets and all, there's lots and lots of storage space in here.
Another thing Christian uncovered in his pictures, whole folder full of documents, paperwork, receipts, owner's manuals, everything that he's got to go with it.
Let's see, all these cabinets and all, it's just more and more storage. It's got a gas, stove back there, and refrigerator and freezer. Just a refrigerator and a freezer, and then over here we've got a washer and dryer. That if you spend a few days in, is nice to have. My wife likes having that. Like I said, the kitchen's adequate for the size. We didn't like They changed this. It came with a small toilet and all. We changed that, and we changed the shower and all. My wife did all that when it was at Prevost. I bought something on day one that I didn't realize that was pretty standard, and we didn't like it. So we definitely changed this. When we came out of our house, each time we go somewhere, we didn't even have to bring a toothbrush. This was like a second place for us. So the only people that ever slept in here are my wife and I guess I'm basically the only person that's ever driven it. So it definitely, I'm not pushing this, but I do mean it's been well taken care of. If it's been outside at night, it's not many days at all. So we thought a lot of it, spent a lot of extras on it, and we enjoy it the way it is, especially going down the road. It's a road creature.
So you got 3 air conditions also in the roof, 1 for each section. Back here by the generator, it's got obviously a push button start in here, just shy of 2,100 hours on the generator. And a thermostat per area, of course, too. And this is the bedroom with a slide. And there's a couple drawers that when you're moving around, if you've had an RV, you know everything shifts, everything moves. There's a couple that need some, this one's good, this one's good, this one's good, but this one's going to slide around. It needs a little clasp put on it, a little catch. Typical things you're going to find of a 2 or 3 year old unit, much less one that's 20 years old. We noticed a couple light bulbs, that weren't working right, walking through it, but I can say this is like looking at a 3 or 4 year old unit in most cases, if not even a little nicer. So it does not show its age, even though some things are a little dated. Some people would change different things, colors, something to that effect. Mechanically, physically, and functionality wise, it's ready. He did have their doors down the side. You notice the stainless doors replaced, and the guy did a average job, and those could use some tweaking and some adjustments on them. You got to play with them a little bit sometimes to get them to latch, and again, they look good, but the latches could use some adjustments. But the trivial things that we've talked about, and I just told him, I said, look, imagine somebody getting in this thing and going to California tomorrow. What would you do? And the good thing with the thing is it's had a little bit of usage all the time. It hadn't just sat for 15, 20 years and not been moved at all. It's had a little bit of movement, a little bit of usage. So other than wear and tear items and things that you can't help, like a failed belt coming off or something like that, there's really nothing but the few little cosmetic things that we've talked about. It still needs to be detailed. You're looking at it just like it came out of the building. Sat for a year plus now, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So you're looking at it literally without even putting water on it. No tire shine, no nothing. It's original. It could use a vacuum. Got a couple little bugs and stuff in here that need to be vacuumed up, but a good detail, and this thing's ready to do some traveling. So.
There are 3 air conditioners on top before I forget. The front one, which is the one we've used the most over all these years, the front one started acting up, making a noise and all, so we took it off, and there's a brand new one. The top one on the front, it's brand new. It doesn't have an hour on it, and it matches the other 3. We found one that was dated, and it's brand new. So the top one, the main air conditioner, doesn't have an hour on it.
Nice, very nice. And the generator's diesel, obviously.
Yeah.
So runs off the tank.
20 kW.
Okay.
Runs off the tank, right.
Yep. 20 kW. So that's a big one. It'll run almost anything you need it to run. So, as I said, you could live in this thing. I mean, it's a coach. It's a motorhome. It's a toter home. It's all the big words that everybody uses that sound real fancy. And if you built one of these things today, I mean, you would probably get close to touching 7 figures. If you really built it custom, not just something off the lot, you would touch some pretty hard numbers to get one like this. But you would not get this unit because you'd have emissions, you'd have DPF, you'd have a speed limiter, you'd have a lot of other things that this one fortunately does not have. There's not really much body style difference, is there?
No. A T680 Kenworth looks real close to the 600.
Yep. Yep. And he was familiar with the KW because in his trucking business, which was his job other than racing, that's what he ran. So he was very familiar with what motor to get, what style to get, and what he wanted when he ordered it and custom built it. So it was not really an expense thing as much as getting what he wanted because he was going to be on the road with it and using it. And this is what he ended up with. So, anything else you can think of, Don?
No, not right on.
And we'll go through the unit a little closer. Again, a lot of pictures will be on the website, so if there's something you can't see in this video, check the website, Davis 4x4, Davis Auto Sales. Don's available for questions. We'll be handling the transaction just for paperwork and things like that, but the vehicle is less than 10 minutes from the office. And again, really wants to sell it just mainly because he don't want to see it sit outside and wants the next owner to get as nice of a rig as it is today. So we'll get it posted up. It will be available. Anything else that somebody needs to ask, feel free to call. We'll reach out to him, get the answer to the question for you right away. And this is something that you guys can start enjoying now. We still got summer left. We still got racing left. Still got boating left, camping left, whatever you guys are into. You know, just exploring the world. You know, this is the unit you can jump in and do it dependably and still haul whatever you want behind you. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks, Don. You've been great. And stay tuned. Check it on the website for all the details. Working on the pricing right now. We'll have that live this afternoon. So thanks, guys.